Hello, this is Michael Lind for Cyber 201 Team 4, and I will be presenting deliverable number one. Um, for this part of the project, we analyzed the security of our web application, and since our site is mainly front end, we focused on basic protections, potential vulnerabilities, and how we would improve security in a real world scenario. Um, so what security features we enabled is the basic client-side validation. For example, in the contact form, we check that a user enters a name and properly formatted email before submitting. We also improved validation by using a stronger email pattern, and that helps prevent incorrect or malformed input. Um, in addition, we also added features like a password strength checker and a security checklist to help users understand better security practices. I'll show that in the next deliverable. And though we implemented these security features, they're still limited because they only run on the client side. So getting to the vulnerabilities, one major vulnerability is that all validation is done using JavaScript on the client side. This means an attacker could bypass it completely. So that's a huge vulnerability. Since it is only front end, if there was a back end side of things, it would be more secure. Um, yeah, so there's no backend or server-side validation, so the application can't properly verify or store data securely. Another issue is that the application does not enforce HTTPS or use security headers, which are important for protecting data in transit. Overall, the app is functional, but it wouldn't be secure in a real-world environment. So the ways we would fix it is we would implement server-side validation to ensure all user input is properly checked and sanitized. We would also use HTTPS to encrypt communication between the user and the server rather than HTTP, which isn't very secure. Um, we would add security headers like content security policy. It would help prevent attacks such as cross-site scripting. And we would implement authentication and proper backend protections to secure user data. Um, so the website isn't exactly the most secure right now, like I said, but we did implement some things to try and ensure there is a level of security since it is only front end. Um, and for part two, let me see part two real quick. Um, Slides. So this presentation covers the security of our web application, including security features, common cyber threats, and server-side attacks and defenses. So security features. DNS domain name system. This translates domain names into IP addresses and can filter and block malicious domains. Authentication uses user identity like password and MFA. HTTPS encrypts data between the browser and server and provides confidentiality, integrity, and authentication. A firewall monitors and blocks network traffic and blocks unauthorized access. These are very important security features to have, um, especially HTTPS, a firewall, and authentication, domain name service as well, of course. What is phishing? Phishing is a social engineering attack where a scammer impersonates a trusted entity to steal login credentials or financial information. Phishing typically arrives via email, text message, or a fake website. This is like one of the main ways a website or somebody can get hacked is by clicking on a malicious link that is sent to them that looks real. Attackers are able to create realistic links and web pages that look real but really aren't and can download ransomware or a virus on your computer. I took a class before where we did it and it's very easy. Actually, it's not that hard to do, which is very surprising. Denial of service, DOS or DDoS. What is a DOS attack? This is when an attacker floods a server or network with excessive traffic, making the service unavailable to legitimate users. DDoS, distributed denial of service, is the traffic originates from thousands of compromised computers, a botnet. And DDoS attacks are larger and harder to stop than a single DOS attack. Examples is the botnet attack. Um, that was a different class I read about the Mirai botnet attack. Um, but this is a pretty sophisticated attack. If you've ever used something like Wireshark and you see the network traffic coming through, it can be hard to take care of and manage. Spam. Um, Spam is an unsolicited bulk email often used for advertising. Most spam is a nuance rather than a direct security threat. Spam can be used as an attack called spam bombing. An attacker floods a victim's inbox with thousands of emails. The volume of messages hides important alerts and distracts the victim. While the victim is distracted, the attacker may attempt fraudulent transactions or password changes. Server-side attacks. Server-side attacks target backend components such as a server or database. SQL injection. This is a pretty interesting one. The attacker sends malicious SQL queries through user inputs, forms, URL parameters, etc. to trick the database into revealing, modifying, or deleting data. Example, entering or 1 equals 1 in a login field to bypass authentication. Server-side request forgery. The attacker makes the server send requests to internal systems or external resources on their behalf. An example is a fetch website thumbnail feature that lets an attacker request that IP address to steal cloud credentials. Server-side defenses. Input validation and sanitization. Never trust data sent by a user. Check and clean all data on the server. Use parameterized queries to stop SQL injection. Secure coding practices. Keep software updated. Do not hash code passwords. Give account the only permissions they need. Do not hard code passwords, sorry. Web application firewalls, a filter that sits between the user and the web server, blocks common SQL attack injections, XSS before they reach the application. And you can also use strong authentication, require MFA, use secure cookies, and end sessions when the user logs out. And I think that is it for this side. Yeah, that is it.